Right, I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, we're back with another lesson. All right, and this one's going to be titled Drunk Off Babylon. All right, and everybody knows, right? Babylon the Great would be America, okay? Modern day Babylon is America, and if you didn't know, now you know. You know, if you got ears to hear, which means if you understand, okay? Understanding, right, through the Holy Spirit, okay, where we at, what times we in prophecy, okay? And all those that are outside of this circle are drunk off Babylon, man. The wine, right, that philosophies, okay? Our people is through, okay? Thursday come around, they get their checks, all right? The only thing they think about is getting drunk, okay? Whatever habits they got going on, all right? Partying, all right? Here it is, you know, you're breaking your back 5 days a week, right? And you take the only 2 days you got to rest, all right? To get high, to get drunk, to go out, to break night, all right? Okay, we got to come to our senses, man. All right, and it gets deeper than that. All right, our people don't believe in the true power. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They're caught up with Christianity. All right, they caught up in idolatry. All right, they caught up in the madness of Babylon, man. And this was all taught by the so-called white man, right? Esau, Edom. All right, you know, but you brothers that are awake to this truth, the 100% truth, with the name, okay, the true breakdowns of these prophecies, the MOTB, right? Knowing that this is the RFID chip, all right? Okay, we've been, how you call that, revived through the truth, right? Off that wine, right? From that cheap wine that Babylon has to offer, okay? And that's the mercy that was extended, right, to the hopeful elect, all right? So we're going to start off with the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, all right, and verse 9.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, and verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with a strong drink.
You see that? So they are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. Okay? And when you're that drunk that you're staggering, okay, you're vulnerable, right, to be led, okay, anywhere, all right? You're vulnerable, man, okay? Here it is that, you know, you don't have an understanding of what's going on. You don't have an understanding of who's your enemy, okay? It's easy, all right? It's like a little kid in a park with no child, with no parent, right? Here come a PEDO, right, with some candy or whatnot, a little teddy bear, open up the van doors, and, you know, he's intriguing you. Yeah, you want a little, you know, looking like it with a balloon, okay? That's it. He got you. He got your ass, man. That's how our people is. That's how simple-minded our people are today, man. They drunk, right? They staggering, okay? They keep going backwards, man, right? As the Lord said, these are backsliding children, okay? Why? Because they don't want to accept the truth. They don't want to return to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They rather reject the truth and be in their comfort, right, of their flesh, all right? Feeding themselves, right? Drinking more wine, puking, okay? Hangover after hangover spiritually, and still drinking off the same philosophies. And nothing has worked for 500 years, but they still trying to make it work, okay? That's how drunk these people are. And now you're dependent on that wine, right, to start your day, because you know nothing else, all right? A person that drunk is vulnerable, right? You ever seen women so drunk at a party, right? Then comes that creep, okay? That can't really bag a girl, right? He's going to take advantage, okay? Because now she's that vulnerable, all right? So our people are vulnerable to all of Esau's philosophies, right? Being led to the slaughter. Matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras. Okay, 2nd Esdras. Let's go to chapter 15 and verse 10.
There's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
You see that? And that's going to be, okay, behold, my people is led as the flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, okay? And 1/3, okay, is going to be delivered from that destruction that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to bring upon Egypt. Egypt is another buzzword for America, which is Babylon, all right? And Babylon is the one that holds that cup that our people have been drinking from, you see? And they're being led as a flock to the slaughter, okay? All right, the 2/3, all right, are being led astray, okay? They have no shepherd. Why? Because they chose Sesai Borgia over Yahweh Shai, okay? They didn't choose the truth, okay? And just to show you that Babylon is the one holding that cup, let's go to the book of Jeremiah, all right, chapter 51, all right, and let's go to verse 7, okay?
There's a book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken.
You see that? So Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken through the philosophies. You see, when you even look at like a place like China, okay, a place like India, all right, you might not know, but these people already have caught up to the ways of the West. The women are even acting like Western women, okay? You all you have to do is go on the internet and see, okay? They're out there in the web, OnlyFans and this and that's the philosophies of Babylon, man. And the earth is drunken, right, with that madness. Okay, so how much more our women that are in the center of it all, right? They're getting that purity. It's like, that it's like getting cocaine from Colombia or Bolivia. You're gonna get that pure shit, right? And then as you keep passing it on, it's gonna get cut and boom, boom, and but here is where that pure cup of wine is, right? So how much more are our people drunken, okay? From this wine, right? That Babylon has offered. Go ahead.
The nations have drunken over wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
You see that? So the nations are mad, and that doesn't mean mad because when you look into the word mad, it means they are crazy. They're bugged out. All right? They're bugged out. Okay? Before, you wouldn't see Chinese women acting this proud. Okay? Indian women acting this proud. Arabs, that before you'd be like, man, these women are, they're all right, man, covered up. They wouldn't look to the side. And look at them now. All you have to do is go on TikTok, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, okay? All types of nations, all these women, all these men, you wouldn't see no moles in these other countries like that. They're everywhere now. Why you think, right? Because they're drunken off the wine of Babylon. So how much more our people, all right, are drunk here, okay? Getting that pure swig from that cup, right? They're delusional, right? Following a lie, okay? Following a lie to their death, all right? Which brings me to 2 Thessalonians. Okay, let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 9.
There's the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the works of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
And that's the so-called white man that's coming with the workings of Satan, okay? Because he's the children of Satan, okay? Which is the adversary, all right? You see, with lying wonders, all right? And that lying wonder is going to be, the perfected in its MOTB, okay? That Neuralink C-hip that's going on your forehead, all right? There's going to be a lot of lying wonders, signs, a lot of different miracles that are going to be performed in the left-hand side, okay? Through this, technology, all right, that the Lord has given Esau, right, to deceive the people, okay?
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, Salakia, and them that perish.
You see that? And deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, okay? Because understand, you are being led like the sheep led to the slaughter, okay? Drunken and vulnerable. Go ahead.
Because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
Right. You see that? They didn't receive the love of the truth, which is what? It starts with this gospel right here, the truth, all right? It starts with the names. It starts with knowing your enemy. It starts with knowing that the Lord don't love everybody. It starts with knowing that Esau, Edom is that enemy, is the profane, okay? That Christianity is not the way, right? You got to separate yourself from all this madness, right? The wine of Babylon, right? Go ahead.
And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
Right, that everybody could be saved. All you got to do is believe, right? White Jesus, okay? Christianity, Ash Wednesdays on Catholic Church, okay? All that types of bullshit, man. Okay, you only live once, YOLO. All right, let's get that bag. All right, it's okay. All you got to do is believe. So now I could be a whore. All right, I could be a drug dealer. I could be a killer. I could be whatever I want. That's what Babylon has taught you to be. Okay, go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
You see that? So you're gonna be damned for having pleasure in unrighteousness. Okay, having pleasure in the ways of Babylon. All right, and that's how the story's gonna go. Okay, why? Because you want to keep drinking off that cheap wine, right? The Lord said, all right, that all those that receive this truth, right? Roughly paraphrasing, his belly is gonna flow with rivers of living water, man. And water is an element that you need in order to detox, okay? And when you wake up hungover, all right, you need water in order to shake that hangover off, right? Your cells are dry, you're just feeling like shit, okay? Okay, you need that bread, you need that water, okay? But you guys are in utter darkness. Why? Because you haven't received that true light, that glorious gospel, right? You got pleasure in this darkness. You want to keep drinking that wine. You love the philosophies of America. It's easy to live that way. It's easy to feed your flesh, right? And you don't want to tap into the spirit, okay? So that's why you're going to perish, right? You're going to be damned. You're going to be condemned, all right? But the elect, okay, has chosen a different path, all right? We've woken up from that buzz, all right? And we've drunk from that water, right, that we should never thirst for again, right? That water that Yahweh Shai has offered us, right, which is the truth, okay? This word, okay? We were washed, as it says in the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 9. All right, we were washed with the word. All right, let's close it out right there. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. All right, chapter 20. All right, in verse Salakia. Is it 10 and 20? Khan.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob.
See that as that remnant, the 1/3, the 144 and the 1/3. Okay, go ahead.
Shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth.
And what?
In truth.
You see that? So we're not going to stay upon Esau no more. We're not going to lean upon him. We're not going to, go by his philosophies, okay? Go back to the block when we're feeling our pockets empty, okay? Go cause mischief and, live a filthy life, just because we're down and out. We're being tested. We're going through trials, tribulations, okay? Cleaning ourselves, right? Being purged, right? From the filthy ways of Babylon, okay? We're no longer going to return to that, Lord willing, okay? Because we got what? We got this truth, okay? We got this truth. Go ahead. Read on 21.
The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power.
See that? So this is the way that we have separated ourselves from this madness, okay? This is the way that we have gone through our detox, okay? As they would say in the world, our 12 steps, okay? Returning back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right? Purging, the filth that was embedded in us, since birth, okay, with this truth, all right? This is the way we have washed ourselves, right? We have detoxed, spiritually detoxed, right, from the cheap wine, right, of Babylon. But everybody else is drunk of Babylon, all right? And they're going to perish if they don't repent, okay? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. And with that, we're going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom.
Shalom.
Abba Abba.
Abba.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Shalom.
Shalom.